Ignite to impact.
Do you dim your own light? Hey, are you your authentic self? Do you look at others and perhaps wish you were like them? Today's conversation, we're going to talk about the 5 reasons why doing it like everybody else is the worst mistake you can make. How you doing? I'm Dr. Geneva, and welcome to Ignite to Impact Live, the place, the best place for great conversations about leadership, being your own authentic self, raising up the next generation of leaders, and making that impact in life. How y'all doing? I am just so excited about today's conversation because there's so much talk about authenticity and doing your own thing and being your own self. And oftentimes we, don't understand, well, why is that important or even how to do that? I've shared with you, many of you, that I just recently got selected to be in the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Business Program. And this is a phenomenal, good morning. Who is that? Prestina, how you doing? Good morning, good morning. I'm so glad you're with us. And I was sharing that this Goldman Sachs program, it's phenomenal. It's nationally known. And what they do is they work with businesses to help businesses grow. And so we can bring more value to you. And so I was on a seminar yesterday, and one of the people, you probably know, Dr. Rose Morton. She, is local. She's a psychologist. She's phenomenal. And she was talking about authenticity and abundance and mindfulness and all those kinds of things, about how important it was to be you. And so it was really great. So understand that this was a business seminar. So being our best selves, particularly wherever you are, is important. And when you're in business, because you are your brand, being your best self matters. Well, today I am so delighted because coming from St. Louis, Marissa Q. Paine from MQPI, and that's Marissa Q. Paine International, is joining me. I am so delighted. She's an executive life shift coach. All right, now. So she knows how to help you make those shifts, those changes. She's also a master facilitator. She's hopelessly addicted to helping accomplished leaders make the shifts they need to create the life and business results that their hearts truly desire, but their heads struggle to make happen. Now, all right now. Oh, aren't you glad she's with us? Hey, Chuck, how you doing? So good to see you, and good morning. We're going to have a great conversation today. Now, Marissa, once settling for a status quo existence and living well below her true potential, she transformed her own life and business many times. She shifted from secretary to CEO, from separated and seeking divorce to celebrating a 25-year plus marriage, from being overworked and unfulfilled to doing her life's work. So see, she's an expert in making those shifts. And so I just love it. And I just love the transformation and change that she's gone through herself and how she helps others do that. And so she works with service-based business owners, CEOs, other executive leaders. She also works with couples, management teams, business owners, boards of directors. She holds a master's in social work. Hey, so do I. We got that affinity there. Hers is from Washington University in St. Louis, and also She's a professional certified coach from the International Coach Foundation. That means she got some creds. So she's bringing some stuff to the table. She's a lifetime learner and champion for racial justice and inclusion. She's got all kinds of training and certificates, and she's been in various HR positions in Fortune 500 companies. And she's been an executive in small and large nonprofits. So, hey, as usual, we bring the stuff to you. So let's come on in, Marissa, and let's find out what the reasons are why doing it like everybody else, hey, it's the worst mistake you can make. Good morning. How are you?
I am. How else could I be after that robust introduction? I'm so excited to be with you and to have this conversation.
Well, thank you. Well, we love having folk like you on because before even opening your mouth, I know you're going to bring value. And that's what we want to do. So many folk. Hi, Lakeisha. How you doing? Good morning to you. So many folk want to hear that value. So let's jump right into it. You ready?
I'm
so
ready.
Get us started on why we shouldn't be like everybody else.
Oh my goodness. So, you shared a little bit about my bio and my story. And I must say that one of the things that I have learned, in 10 years in business and, a long, robust career before that, was coming into myself. And that being my most authentic self, the unique combination of my gifts, my talent, my story, my scars, all of that like converged for a purpose and a reason. And when I finally got to a place where I accepted that and came to know and nurture that, is when everything in my life shifted, everything in my business shifted, everything in my marriage shifted. It was the difference maker. It was the difference maker. And so I am passionate, as you said, about helping other women and a few good men as well make the shifts they need to come into that same discovery of self. Because when you're comparing, the comparison game, you lose. Like the first thing I often say, if you think about riding down the highway and the emergency vehicle comes down the highway behind you, you scoot over and let them by, but then you go right back to where you were. And, so comparing is a little bit like that scenario. You kind of move out the way, but you don't really make any shifts because you go right back to where you were and you're back on path. And the moment you look over to the left or you look over to the right, that's when you crash, right? That's when you crash. And so staying focused and centered on who you were uniquely designed to be is the greatest gift and the greatest contribution that you can ever bring to the earth and to the world. Like, that's why you were born. So trying to do it someone else's way is by default, you're off track, like dead on arrival when you do that.
And why do you think we struggle, though, to do that? Why are we, why do we want to do that?
Yeah, because we have a story. There's a story. I can tell you, my story. For example, when I was young, I knew I was special, right? I knew there was something different about me. I could just tell, like this light, this shine, I woke up like this.
Okay. All right.
But it bothered. I also noticed that it bothered other people around me, not just my peers. It bothered the grown-ups around me. I had family relationships where, it's like, who does she think she is? Right. And so I learned that I could shine, but not too bright, because that got me in trouble, or that got me ostracized, that got me criticized. And so I was like, okay, we learn to adapt to the condition and the environment around us. And I didn't realize it at the time, right? And then you can get in a relationship, right? Similarly, I was in a relationship with an insecure person. So
Mm-hmm.
again, I had to turn
Uh-huh.
me down a little bit in
Okay.
order to be accepted. So this
Mm-hmm.
acceptance thing can really do a number
Mm-hmm.
on you
Mm-hmm.
if you're
Mm-hmm.
not
Mm-hmm.
careful. And a lot of times it becomes subconscious. We call it the residual effect from
Okay.
childhood, from work environments, from relationships, from religious settings. And before you know it, you have learned to conform and adapt, and you're a fragment of that once confident, unique self you were. And
Mm-hmm.
so, you really have to learn to shift and make adjustments in order to get back to your sense of self.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of reasons because we all got a story, and
Mm-hmm.
they make sense. And then it can become scary, and the stakes are high as to what it takes to actually be courageous to say, no, I actually want to do it different. Because now you got, mortgage and bills and kids and all
Right.
the things.
Right.
So that throws things off.
And that combination of learned behavior, oftentimes from childhood, that many times we don't really recognize. So I
Yeah.
guess that's probably one of the things that we need to go through is, try to recognize that behavior, become aware of it. But that coupled with this acceptance, because,
Yeah.
everybody wants to be accepted in one way or another, so, but what I'm hearing you say is that the combination of those
Yeah.
takes us out of our authentic self.
It does. It does. It really can. And again, oftentimes you may not even recognize it's happening.
Okay.
You are going along to get along. But for me, for example, there was, I got off track. My story, I had a child in college, unexpectedly, unplanned. I came from, my mother had me young. My father was in prison. So there was already a bit of a story kind of following me,
Mm-hmm,
which is why
mm-hmm.
I had that little, who do you think you are? And so
Yeah,
I
that
spent
little voice in your head.
a good portion of my life trying to prove that I was good enough, right? Trying to
Mm-hmm,
recover from that
mm-hmm.
quote unquote mistake. I don't actually believe
Okay.
in mistakes. So that's
Mm-hmm,
actually one of the shifts I've made is
mm-hmm.
there are no mistakes. Because if you free
Okay.
yourself from the notion of mistakes, then you give yourself a little more license to lean into fear and to try things and do things. You learn from it. My oldest son, my firstborn son, is one of the best things that ever happened to me.
Mm-hmm,
So even
mm-hmm.
though I wasn't expecting it and it wasn't planned, I was 19. How can that be a mistake? If there's good in it,
Absolutely.
it's not a mistake.
That's
So, but
right.
I didn't know that then.
Right. And
I
so
didn't.
how
I
did you
didn't know that then.
so tell us a little bit about, so clearly, a lot of things sometimes that we're talking about now, they're comfortable. You're in a
Yeah.
comfortable place.
Yeah.
So why is it that, since I'm comfortable, why is it a mistake
Yeah.
that, you know, doing it like everyone else? Why is that a mistake if I'm comfortable?
Yeah, it's a mistake. So for me, again, I kind of had this. I was working hard to recover and just fit in and get back to a place of acceptance. But there was always this little still small voice in my belly that said there was something more for me to do. So
Mm-hmm,
no matter what, I got the first degree. Okay, yay, I'm better. And then I got
mm-hmm,
the second degree. And then I was on the upward trajectory in career. And I the last position that I held before I started my business was as an executive director of a residential program for young pregnant moms. It was full
uh-huh,
circle. I loved that job, and yet
mm-hmm,
there was still something compelling me to want more. And I was just like,
mm-hmm.
oh, what is this? Like, leave me alone, self.
Right. And
But
Tam is saying, I love that, Tam. Mistake.
yeah,
Ms. Take the lesson. Oh my
yes,
God. So
that's so
Tam, I'm gonna be
good.
using that. I'm gonna be using that. Okay, thank you, thank you, thank you. But
Miss Take the
Marissa,
lesson. I love
yes,
that. So
don't
good.
you Isn't that really great? And so I know you've got some, ways that folk can shift.
Yeah.
So share some of those gems with
Yeah,
us.
yeah. So, I think the first, we've already talked about several of them. Number one, looking at other lanes will make you crash, right?
Okay.
So
All
that's the first
right.
thing.
Okay, Tisha, we want to put that up. We want to put that one on. Looking in other lanes will make you crash. Because, see, that's a
Yeah,
real visual. Okay. All
yeah.
right. That's a
Looking
good
in
one.
other lanes is gonna make you crash.
Okay.
So, mistake number one. Thank you,
Uh-huh.
Tam.
Yes. Yes.
Number two, dimming your light will make you miserable.
Hmm.
Dimming your light will make you miserable. You can be comfortable, but you're incomplete. You can be comfortable, but incomplete, right? So that's what leads to burnout. That's what can lead to health problems. Sometimes, again, you're accepting it because you're going along to get along, but your relationships, you're not having success in your intimate partner relationships, not having success in your family relationships, and you're thinking these things are not connected, but it's because you are often going along to get along. Getting to
Hmm.
your most authentic self is where that's liberation.
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
that's
Hmm.
liberation. And so
Hmm.
dimming your light, adjusting, conforming will make you miserable.
Okay.
Um, Another reason, it's already done that way. Like it's already
Hmm.
done, being Oprah, being Michelle Obama, being whomever it is you're looking to, that's already taken. That seat is
Ah.
already taken.
Ooh, yes, that spot has already been claimed. Ooh, I love that, Marissa. That's a good one. Now I'm going to take that one. All these
Already
gems we've
taken.
got.
Like
Yes,
again, you were uniquely conformed. Every
yes,
story, every
right.
mishap, right? Every
Hmm.
mistake
Hmm.
was designed for a reason, just
Hmm.
like they had theirs. So, yes, admire them, use them as a model, but don't conform and do it their way. Learn your own way so that you can enjoy the success that is for you,
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
not for them, because
Beautiful.
theirs is already taken.
And so is yours.
Yes.
That's the other side of it,
Yeah.
that while we're certainly admiring and the folk that you mentioned, oh my gosh, role models, et cetera, et cetera. But just as they created their space
Yes.
and it's already taken, so you have your space, and your
Yes.
space is already taken too, because you're unique and special. So
Yeah.
do your thing.
Yes,
Yes,
exactly.
yes,
That
yes,
people ask me often, what's the key to business success? And you mentioned Marissa Q Paine International. For us,
yes.
that was a rebrand that we shifted to. We're probably 2.5 years into it. So I've been in business full time for almost 10 years now. And for
Hmm.
the first probably 7 years, I did it the way I thought it was supposed to be done, very
Okay.
corporate, very
Mhm,
buttoned up, very
mhm,
executive, because
okay.
I was doing it like other people do it. And that's the way
Mhm.
they told me it was supposed to be done. Like, I'm not telling
Ah,
you something I imagine, I'm telling you what I know and
mhm,
experience personally. I don't believe in
mhm,
theory.
mhm,
I've had too many lessons to talk theory. I'm going to tell you what
mhm,
has worked for your girl. Okay.
mhm,
And, but over time, I was training in Chucks. I more and more, I realized that what the secret to my success was my authenticity, was the audacity to show up as myself.
mhm,
And eventually, I started to get burned out. I was
mhm,
successful. We were growing. We had multiple six figures coming in, and I was still miserable. That
mhm,
thing in my belly was still like, nope, not yet. And it was because I was conforming. And so I actually took a sabbatical to really get silent and clear about what was going on. And that's when this movement of
Okay.
making shift happen was birthed. And I had the
Mhm.
audacity to come out as Marissa Q. Paine International. And to be
Mhm.
honest, I fought that. I was like, no, you don't want a business by your name. No, again, who does she think she is? But
Mhm.
here's what I eventually discovered. Number one, there were other people on my vision board who didn't necessarily look like me, but that I was aspiring to because they were giants in my industry. And I was like, and they went by their name. I
Mhm.
won't necessarily name them, but they went by their name. And I was
Mhm.
like, well, if they can become household names, why can't I?
Right.
Like,
That's right.
why do I have three white men on my vision board with my beautiful brown self? I'm like,
Mhm.
if they can become household names and I know I got the goods, then I can
Mhm.
become a household name too. And there's
Mhm.
some women and some girls back like I was that need to see my name as a household name. So it
That's
wasn't
right.
about me, but I leaned into who I was and I had the
Right.
audacity. I was like, there are companies, Walt Disney, for example. That's a name. So if
That's
Walt
right.
Disney can be a name, then why can't Marissa Q. Paine be a
That's
name?
right.
And I
All
have to
right.
tell you, since leaning into myself, oh my gosh,
Mhm. Mhm.
it has
Mhm.
been the key
Mhm.
to
Mhm.
all of the joy and the
Mhm.
fulfillment
Mhm.
across every
Mhm.
area of
Mhm.
my life. I haven't been happier or more fulfilled. Not to say it's all roses and cotton candy, but it has made the difference and it will make the difference for you as well.
I love it. I love it. And Lakeisha's loving this conversation as well. And
Hey, Lakeisha.
Tam weighed in again with another gem, and she says, "My space is reserved for me." So,
Yes.
as we were talking about the concept of already taken,
Hmm.
that
Exactly.
and when we looked at folks, and you don't have to, you do admire and respect them,
Hmm.
understand that their spot is already taken, but
Yeah.
so is
And
yours.
so is mine. And so
Already
is
taken.
mine.
Yes,
It's
yes, yes.
there for the taking. It's
Up
there for the
and
taking.
there for the taking. All
But you do
right,
have to
then.
possess it. You do have to possess it.
Okay. And how do you possess it?
Yeah.
And I asked this question because, in this seminar that I just mentioned, that again, a business seminar
Yeah.
talking about authenticity
Hmm.
and abundance and
Yeah.
mindset.
Yeah.
And one in the chat, there was a comment that I just thought was so heavy. One of the people chatted, said, "Well, I don't mean to be, um, I think he said, I don't mean to be off here, but how do you find your
Hmm.
authenticity?"
Oh
And I
my.
thought that was a deep question. Because, we always saying, be authentic, be you, do you, and all that.
Yeah.
But oftentimes the people say, okay, okay, yes, yes. You get the nods. I mean,
Yeah.
who ain't going to nod to that?
But how
Right?
do you do it?
But how? Can you?
Yes.
How do you do?
I'm
How did you do it?
Yes. It's interesting because when I mentioned going on that self care sabbatical, there is a methodology about making shift happen that was birthed during that time. And it is exactly what you're talking about. It is how do I make shift happen?
Mhm,
How do I've been doing this. I've been going along to get along. I've been doing it the way
mhm,
other people do it all this time.
mhm,
So now what
mhm,
do I do?
mhm.
And for us, it's called the Life Shift Method, and it's 4 steps to doing that.
Okay.
Number
Drop it.
one, rediscover who you really are at your core,
Okay.
right? So rediscover who you really are. And that
Mhm,
is all about the combination of story, your
mhm,
identity, the
mhm,
roles and relationships that you have put on. Who are you
mhm,
outside of those roles? So when you
mhm,
take
mhm,
those roles, mother, wife, executive, CEO, entrepreneur. Those are things that you kind of put on like a jacket. We don't think about it because they really often make up our identity. But when if you take those off, because they can shift, what's left? Who are you at your core? What are your values, your passion, your purpose? So rediscover who you really are, right? Not who you conform to be. Number two, determine what really needs to shift. Determine what really needs to shift. That's an inventory. That's an audit of your personal culture. Right? What's your thinking? What kind of stinking thinking have you inherited that is not serving you, that is keeping you held back? Right?
Okay.
3, determine a strategy or develop a strategy that will really work. One of the ways and uniquenesses that how we do our work for business owners, or we actually have a Wife Life event coming up, whatever shift it is people like to start with the goals and the strategy right away. But if you don't have surety of self, I can give you business advice, but if your mindset isn't open to receive it, if you don't believe you can be a multiple 6-figure business, I can tell you the strategy all day. You're not going to find it because you don't have the mindset to accept it. So you've got to actually, or if you've got, you're taking care of a elderly parent and you got 3 young children at home, and my strategy is like go out every night and network events. That's not realistic for you.
Right.
So you need a strategy that's going to really work for your scenario. And then the 4th step is to deliver like you were really born to. Deliver like you were really born to. You were really born to, not everybody else, not Michelle, not Oprah, you.
Love it. This life shift process, methodology.
Yeah.
Marissa, you just dropping them gems. See, we got some extra stuff in here. So we're going to go back because I know you had a couple more reasons on your list in terms of why you don't want to be like everybody else, because that's not the thing to do. But in the meantime, we got some extra gems.
So, the how.
Life shift. That's right. And so, yes, I agree. A self-care sabbatical does sound amazing. And the thing is, you can do it. You absolutely can do it. There's nothing stopping you from doing it. Make the arrangements, just like you see them pairs of shoes and you say, I got to get them shoes. And you go out there and get them shoes,
make sure
or just like, someone asks you to do something work and you say, got to do it, got to do a good job. You can say the same thing and take yourself a self-care sabbatical. And then who's talking about Tasha leaning into herself has been beautiful. Love it. Yes. So yes. And Mavada, love you. Yes, I love this. Do what is realistic for you. Yes.
For you. Yes.
For
Again,
you.
Back to our topic, right?
Yes.
Just because there is no cookie cutter about life. There is no cookie. Life is not cookie cutter.
Okay.
Life is not cookie cutter. So yes, you can have the templates, but you've got to adjust them for the unique combination that is you. That's what it's all about. And ultimately, that's the 4th reason, right? The unique combination is your key to success.
Well, I just am laughing because Mavada is telling me to get out of her business. She just ordered some shoes. She got to have them. Girl, let me tell you, because you think your shoes, let me tell you, as soon as we get off of here, I'm on my way out to Somerset to pick up mine. Okay, but guess what? This weekend, I'm also taking myself on a little state vacay. So that's the thing. So it's not an either or, right, Marissa?
Absolutely. I already know what time a vendor I know about has a sale at 10 a.m.
That's right. because hey, that retail therapy, I do retail therapy and I love it, and I'm gonna do it always. You get this. Why you I do it. I
My
love it.
cart
It's
is
so
ready. My cart is
that's
ready. I will
that's
say
right,
COVID messed
particularly
me
for
up
some
that way.
shoes. Shoes. I mean, I got shoes that I had, about 30 years ago. I still got them shoes. Don't want to give them up.
Quality.
So Marissa, so we're gonna fun, Mavia. Thank you so much for sharing that fun. So I know you got a couple of reasons that are still on your list for
Yeah.
us
Yeah.
about why looking like and thinking like and doing like everybody else ain't good. So
Yeah.
drop
But
them on us.
the last one really
Okay.
is it's easier to be you than to try to be anybody else.
Ooh, now talk about that. Let's unpack that a little bit. Why is it easier to be you? If I'm looking over there and I'm saying, "Oh, I wish I were her."
It's
Why is it
I don't know, Dr.
easier
Geneva,
to be me than
maybe
her?
maybe you haven't had experience with this, but for me, conforming was exhausting. Conforming was
Mhm.
exhausting, to be honest.
Uh-huh.
Trying to figure out what to wear, what the look looks like. The way to be, showing up like they desire me to show up. When I got the freedom to actually just be me, releasing the judgment, releasing the trauma, releasing what they were going to think. Who is
Mhm.
they anyway?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
what do they have to do with my lane, right? Are they contributing
Right.
to my lane? Or
Right.
are they worrying about me because they're not happy in their lane? Girl, come on over. Let me help you shift as well. I'm not going to take
Yes.
your insecurity and carry it like a backpack in my life. Why would I do that? So
Mhm.
the liberty to just be me is easy.
Mhm.
It's the
Mhm.
easiest option. It can be scary because we've
Mhm.
been conditioned to think that being a different way is the way to our success. But that's a myth. That's not
That's right.
true.
I love it. I love it. And I
It's not
love how
true.
you position that, because you're trying to figure out
Yeah.
what other folks are doing, how you can be like them, what you can wear like them, how you can
Mhm.
look like them. When you think about it, all that energy you
Yeah.
can put in yourself.
Listen, hashtag make shift happen. If
That's
they don't
right.
accept you, find the space.
Exactly.
Make shift happen. You're
Yes.
not broken. You're
That's
not
right.
broken.
And
Don't
it's
adjust yourself to fit in. Find the space. Make the place work that works for you.
and approaching it from an asset or an abundance perspective, I think
Yeah,
really makes the difference. And again, as you talk, it's about
yeah,
the mind shift. And right, you're not broken.
you're not
And
broke.
Mavada talks about the liberty to just be me
Oh
is
my
easy. Yes,
goodness.
Marissa, dropping them gems. I told you. Now listen, wait a minute. You are on Ignite to Impact Live. There was going to be some gems. Hey, that's one thing you can be sure of, that there going to be some stuff you can take with you, the value. Oh my goodness, Marissa, I just love this. Everything from, watch what lane you in, because if
Yeah,
you speeding, you're going to crash, to doing your, dimming your light isn't what you want to do, that it's easier to be yourself. And that
yeah,
this whole concept of already taken,
yes,
that their spot is already taken. But the real deal observation
yeah,
is that my spot is already taken. Ooh,
That's it.
love it, love it. Yes, yes, yes. So make shift happen. Yeah, let's hashtag that. I want
Yes.
everybody to hashtag make shift happen.
It's an action.
Um,
It's an activator. It's an
activate.
activator.
Okay.
It's a make is an action word. You
Mm-hmm.
have the power. If it's not working for you, make
Mm-hmm.
shift happen.
Mm-hmm. And then also, you gave us, though, what I really love about the conversation, Marissa, and what you bring
Mm,
is that I know you said you didn't like the theory or but no, I think you put things in context
mm,
for us, and that's very helpful because
yeah,
as that process of doing that and reframing things is very important.
yeah, yeah,
And you also gave us 4 specific steps
yeah,
because you shared your method
yeah,
with us.
yeah.
So I want you to drop your method one more time as
Yes,
we're winding down, because see, this is what I want folks to take with them. I want them to take the hashtag make shift happen,
yes.
but I want them to take your method because again, and where can people get in touch with you?
Yeah, easy. Marissa Q Paine. You can join us on all of the social media platforms. Our website is marissaqpaine.com. Depending on where you are, like we hang out, we've got a Facebook group, Movers and Shifters. Come on now, with Coach Marissa Q
Mhm,
Paine. Come and join us.
mhm,
It's a movement. It really
mhm,
is a movement
mhm,
to be intentional about creating the life and business, being intentional about making shift happen.
mhm,
If it's not working, you have the power to make shift happen.
mhm,
So
mhm.
yeah, we're super excited about all
Good.
the things. Yeah.
Fantastic. So as we wind down, I'm going to say my thank yous to Marissa Q. Paine, MQPI,
Mhm.
Marissa Q. Paine International, executive coach, executive life shifter, culture shifter. You've just been a phenomenal guest. And what
Thank
I
you.
want you to do is for those maybe who are just joining us, and thank you so much, everyone, for being here. And certainly those on the replay, if you tuned in maybe halfway and you didn't get the 4 steps, the 4 life shift method, leave us with that, Marissa.
Yes. Rediscover who you really are at your core. Reconnect with who you really are. Determine what really needs to shift. Develop a strategy that's going to really work for you. And then deliver like you were really born to. Let's do it.
Yes, yes, let's do it. Live it, just live it. Marissa, gonna have you back again. Have
Thank you
fun
so
in
much.
St. Louis. Thank you for
Thank,
being on Ignite to Impact Live.
thank you so much for having me. Thank you for being
Yeah,
you. It's been
thank
fantastic.
you. Thank you. Thank you. Mwah. Phenomenal, right? Hey, awesome, right? Terrific. Uh-huh. See, I'm so glad you're with us here this morning. And, let's keep this Wednesday, 9 o'clock, LinkedIn Live, Facebook Live. Hey, everyone out there in the Facebook world, let's keep it going. Just some wonderful gems about authenticity and being you. It's just very enlightening, brightening. I hope it started your day off wonderfully. I got lots coming up, so I want to share with you. Hey, I want you to join my free community. Just drgenevaspeaks.com. Just go there, click on that link, drgenevaspeaks.com. Come on. It's for free. You can join up for free. I got special offers and inspiration and new content and value. Continually talking to guests like Marissa and others, just bringing it to you. Please go on over to drgenevaspeaks.com and join for free. Would love to see you over there. You know, I think this conversation about authenticity is so very important. And the tips and strategies that we can gain from others is why it's really the whole purpose of Ignite to Impact. It's why I started it. I knew that out there were so many incredible stories and people doing wonderful things, uh, making mistakes. As we learned a whole new thing for make a mistake and lessons, but making mistakes, moving, doing incredible things that we didn't always hear, that we didn't always know about. And I became determined to bring them to all of us. And that's why I started Ignite to Impact podcast, which can be heard anywhere that you hear your favorite podcast. So check that out. And then I wanted to bring it right to you live. And that's why Ignite to Impact Live is here on Wednesdays, here on LinkedIn and Facebook, and just saying hello to all of you and asking you to join this awesome conversation, because the more we hear, the more we learn, the better we do for ourselves, the better life we can have. But more importantly, we can use that influence to make a better world. So, want to see you next time. Love you. Take care. Just live it.
Ignite